Just like that, in a flash, we're back. Good to see everybody. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith's fine by me. Hope you had an awesome Wednesday. We were live Tuesday, just like we are every single Tuesday. And we're back on Thursday, just like we are every single Thursday. Hope everyone's ready. We're going to dig into some charts. Let's start with the NASDAQ. Things have changed really rapidly in the last 36 hours. It's pretty crazy how quick stuff changes these days, huh? There's so many things you could argue about, whether it's this way or that way. But the point is, we got data on our side. So let's dig in. Welcome to Charts After Dark. If you haven't done so, please help a brother out. Go hit the like button. It's absolutely free. Costs absolutely nothing. The more likes we get, the more YouTube sends it around the old algorithms. Go hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. Half you guys don't subscribe. It's free, Bob. Come on. It's free. Why not? Please help brother out. You don't got to do much. We don't ask for much here. So I'll start with the NASDAQ. Interesting that the NASDAQ's doing what it's doing right now. You saw the title of the thumbnail, NASDAQ's nosebleed. What the heck? Well, we've been stuck in this same consolidation range that we've talked about here all the way since October. We broke into this range, well, really September. So September, let's see, mid-September. So October, November, December, January, February, March. So that's 6 months. 6 months. We've been stuck in this range here. To back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Speak on it to what you will about why. It doesn't really matter to me why. More so, it's important to note that we haven't fallen out of either direction. We peaked over down the bottom side one time. We peaked over on the top side one time. But that's all we've done so far. Everything else has just been what we call in range. Back and forth between 26,000 and 24,000. Just ping-ponging, Forrest Gump style, back and forth. The reason I said nosebleed is I want you to notice this. Above everything else, we've got a downtrend right there on a shorter time frame from late January to now. We've done nothing but create lower highs and stump our head on a brick wall known as a downtrend line right there. It's clearly a downtrend right there, and it can't get through it. It's having what I would consider a pretty darn rough time getting through it. I'll do white right there so it's easier to see. But nonetheless, it doesn't seem to like that level. It, for whatever reason, can't get through it. So we pull our moving averages up. You're going to see a lot of the same situations that we see over in the crypto world, where it's a lot of rejections and not enough volume pushes to really get over the hump. All the volume is doing is sort of running back to the mean. Right here's your 821 EMA, as you see, a bit rolled over and down. Right here's our 50 and our 100, a bit rolled over and pointing down. And if I throw this stuff off and show you, right, you got these big green volume candles right here. But note what they do. They just kind of run into a brick wall and fall over. Run into a brick wall and fall over. And what that tells us is we simply haven't broken out, simply haven't proven to the bulls yet, and for what it's worth to the bears as well, that we're serious enough to get going. You've had some bullish activity, but you haven't had enough to really, really move the needle and get things on the right side of the law here. Even if you get on the right side of the law. Excuse me. That's the other problem here, is even if you get over there, you're still kind of stuck. You got to break the 821 and what looks like the trend line at the same time. You still got to contend with the moving averages that are slowly pinching and moving sideways, doing much of nothing. So say you break the 821 and you crack loose, you get to the trend line, you're likely just to stump your head again on that same level and sort of continue to consolidate. It's been my take, and my point of view, that we're going to continue doing this until a new Fed chair is announced and actually put in place. And that's not until May. And here we are in March thinking, gosh, that's a long way out. That'd be the end of the second quarter, another 3 months. I get it. It's a long time to think about it and go, oh, gosh, a whole nother quarter. But until we have some volume to push us out of here, and a reason for people to put behind the volume, even though we don't necessarily need one, doesn't matter. People still love to play the because game. Oh, this happened because. Oh, we don't care about that here. More so what I see is just not enough volume to move us over the trend line, to move us past these moving averages, and to break us out of this range. Even if, we got over the 821, even if we got over the trend line, even if we broke the 50 and the 100 moving averages, you still got to contend with the range line at the top up here. So I say to you, every single time we get some volume, we get another nosebleed. It's not like we're broken or dying. We keep having these little continuous cuts. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? You need to see a push up here to get things going. Without a push up and a serious amount of volume that manages to hold throughout a week, we're still in a bearish territory. And that's bad for NASDAQ. It's more so bad for the rest of everything because a lot of this stuff just moves together. A lot of these assets move in a similar fashion. It's not like one's different or special than the other. And this being a grouping of the top 100, man, that's where a lot of the money was already. And now it's having a hard time breaking loose and doing moves. Kind of puts you in a position where you look at it and go, all right, man, I think I'll just hang out and wait. And the rest of what I'm going to show you sort of reflects to that, okay? Here's the SPY, the S&P 500. S&P 500, boy, that's about as ugly and bearish as a weekly candle gets. That's testing the 821 EMA, hitting, failing, and rolling over and creating a gravestone candle, which is a really terrible look. No volume, very, very bearish to me. This looks like we're going to roll over more and work our way down and sideways back over here toward this weekly 50. Now, I'm not guaranteed that's going to happen or say that's going to happen too for sure, but it definitely looks like that's the way it's trending. When that sucks. Come on, man. You didn't want to see that at all. You want to see this thing move in the correct direction, but we mustn't lie about it. We got to keep it real. That's the number one thing we do here is we always keep it real no matter what, even if it's to the detriment. All right. I don't come on here and fill people's head with hopium or lies. Never have, never will. So when we see something on the charts, we call it out. What do we see right now? Daily charts, same nosebleed. You got that downtrend line going right there, just getting hammered by sell pressure every time you get a good volume push up. It's just enough to get back to the resistance lines here, where the price pins it back down and throws it back into a retroactive down cycle, back toward that 200 moving average, which slowly continues to trickle over to the side there. It's just not good enough yet. Continues to show that it's not ready. Continues to show that it's just weak enough to catch a wave and stop and back up. That's not good enough. It just isn't, folks. So until I see some changes here, you get back over this weekly 821 EMA, I'm to expect more down and sideways. And that's the S&P 500, the top 500 assets. If that's the case, you know what I mean? Rob showed TOS 478. Oh, ugly trading today. I would agree. You had a rough amount today. You got everything in the top. Not everything. Most things in the top got punched in the face. And it happened really, really quickly right at open too, right? That's the problem with all those bearish back tests. You're just setting those bears up to really run in and stick that knife in and twist it. I hate to see it. It sucks. Dow Jones, similar action. It's not much different. As you see, most markets, most assets are continuing to do the same thing here. There are going to be some exceptions I'll get into in a minute. You've rolled over again. Dow Jones, weekly 821 downward cross. Heading back toward that weekly 50 moving average, just like a lot of other ones. Similar strategy there. Just a bit of a nosedive, rolling over and stopping. No volume to push you up out of the mud. Just hitting your head on a brick wall and turning around the other direction. It's just not going to get it. You can clearly see the downtrend. I don't think I need a highlighter or hieroglyphics to help you see that's a downtrend. It's just touch and go south, farther and farther every single time. And while you did have a good hammer right there, I got in between cough and yawn, fellas. It sucks. You did have a good hammer candle there at the bottom, which could potentially lead toward up. You've now nuked that by falling under that previous close, and now you're making a new low. Really, really brutal chart for the Dow. If I pull some fibs on it here, you can see there the trend line was going up, and she failed, and she created a downtrend. And as long as this downtrend continues to fail, we will continue to chop lower into these Fibonacci lines. You're into Sniper's Alley right now, which is sort of the last line of defense. If it falls farther than this, then you're likely only to get bearish back tests and more down on the backside of that. That would suck. It's really going to put it into a spiral if that's the case. The Dow Jones on the daily chart has indeed fallen into oversold territory. In general, when you are oversold, you should potentially look to buy. When you are overbought, like you see here, if that is overbought, you should potentially look to sell. I like to say you don't take everything all in one big bite. What I like to tell people to do is come up with a strategy where you're taking small pieces or medium pieces or whatever your strategy is every single time you see a marker get hit that you made your choice on. So for instance, the RSI, every time I see it go overbought too much, I'm going to take some off the table. Every time I see it go oversold, I'm going to add some. That's a basic, simple strategy that many people all over the world who do this use. That's what the RSI is for. It's Relative Strength Index. And it's not perfect, right? Oh, it's Rob's How-Tos. My bad. Sorry. It's all one word. It kind of throws me off. Maybe capitalize the R, the H, and the T, and it'd be a little bit easier, but it's hard for me to see. It's all kind of one word jumbled up, and I already read it like at the 7th grade level, so it's hard for a brother. So I didn't do this yet, but let's look at the SPY. So she's not oversold. NASDAQ, same story, not even close to oversold. So there's your top indices, not great. Oversold and rough looking. So if I jump into a couple more here, here's a couple more. This is VanEck Semiconductor Fund. You've rolled over and tagged the 50 moving average on the back side. That's just enough to be bearish. Exactly what I'm talking about. That's a high and a lower high. That's not going to get it. Apple, similar story here. High, low, lower high, lower low. Not good. You're just chopping along, making short-term downtrends here, which isn't good enough to move the needle for me. There you go. You got a downtrend right there. As you can see, you haven't broken loose. More bearish back test. Tesla. Oh, man, what a head fake. Looked pretty good. Looked like it was going to get going. Ran up and got to the 50 moving average. Snap your fingers. Having a hard time. There we go. Snapping my fingers these days, being outside with these chemicals on my hands. Fell in the 50 moving average. Now fell in the 821 EMA with an abrupt head fake. Psych. Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch. There you go. I hit the wrong button first time, but the Undertaker bell is also appropriate. Now you have come back down to the 200 moving average. 200 moving average tends to be a bit of a magnet for the price. When the price gets to it, it's hard for it to get away. It's clearly not oversold. So for what it's worth, this isn't a downtrend, and until it proves it, there could be more downside. Amazon, same bearish back test. Berkshire Hathaway, same bearish back test. Google, same bearish back test. Microsoft was trying to improve, now failing the 821 EMA. Facebook, Meta, failed the moving averages all at once except the 200, which is up there by itself. Big bearish back test. NVIDIA, bearish back test. Palantir, here's where things change a little bit. We haven't quite gotten up to the upper level where I think we might go, but as you see, playing around with that 50 moving average right there, it doesn't want to just give it up. As you see, she's kind of pressing it down now, pinching between the 50 moving average and the 8 EMA. Looking at the Bollinger Bands, they're nice and wide, so that's no help there. I need to see this close over the 50 moving average, which it has yet to do. And if it does, I think that green line that I drew right there may play out a little bit cleaner. Baby steps. Let's see if it gets there. There you go, Rob. You're talking. Now, United Healthcare. Same story here. Still big gap from the initial drop. But again, bearish back test. 821 EMA, rollover fail. eBay. This one was better than a lot of them, wasn't it? Look at that. You're over every single moving average. Not too bad. Warning. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And while it was a nice short-term run up, this is a terrible looking candle right here. All right. That's a terrible looking candle. That's about as bearish as it gets. This to me signals we're probably coming back toward the 200. Paramount. Boy, has she ever give up the goose. Phew. Took her panties off and threw them straight in the trash. No love. Failed the 50. Failed the 821 EMA. Touched the 100 and the 200 and instantly rejected. That's not going to get it, folks. How about Netflix? Their direct competitor. Be careful here. You had gotten over the 100 and were hanging on, but now, as you see, that's failing. It's now under the 8 EMA. If this goes any farther, you're going to have to help you get caught by the 21 EMA. Maybe there'll be a bit of a pinch right there, and you might see price action wiggle a little bit. But this starts to look a little bit bearish here. Your MACD and your RSI aren't much help. You were overbought. You see, when you're overbought, you should look to potentially sell some. Not financial advice. Do your own thing, dude. I just read charts and talk to them out loud in front of you guys. And I talk about what I do. I want you guys to go prove it for yourself. Use these charts to make better decisions for yourself. Do not listen to me. In fact, do not listen to anyone on the internet. Go prove it for yourself. Go look at the data. Go use the information. Go run the charts and see if you don't come up with a very, very similar answer. And if not, maybe make that your new strategy. If it was different for you, if you find something that works better for you, well then great, right? It's the whole reason we do all this. MACD, you're still rolling over. Got the blue line and the orange line. Big divergence is starting to converge back together now. Once we see convergence or a crossover, you may get a little uglier here. For now, idling. Let's see what Friday brings. I bet it's going to be ugly. How about some metals? So, we've been watching metals really closely over in the Discord. If you haven't done so, you can check us out right here, wap.com/team786. First month free. Less than the cost of Starbucks coffee after that. $8 a month. And you're locked in for life. You can cancel at any time, of course. As you see right here, just bearish back test of the trend line. It's the same thing we were talking about with equities and indices. It's the same exact move. You're just bumping your head on the trend line. You're underneath the 50, you're underneath the 821 now. And while every time it takes a little peak like it's going to run up, it's just bearish back test. Prove it by getting through the mud. All right. It hasn't done so yet. I'm sorry, I started and said gold. This is silver. We'll do gold in a second. But pure rejection here of the trend line. The weekly is still holding on to the 8 EMA. So there's hope here that this thing can still crack the trend line and get off its butt. From a high of 122, you're flirting around with 85 to 90 now. Tomorrow's a big day for it. Let's see some action. How about gold? Similarly, but in a slightly better spot here. You're not underneath the 50 moving average. You're just playing around with the 821 EMA, but you do have a very similar bearish back test of the trend line here. And so far, you've made nothing more than a lower high. There's our high, and here's our lower high. Fair enough? Excuse me. Fair enough. So, like silver, but better, get over this 821 EMA, and I also want to see you close higher above 5,200. Closing above 5,200 gives us the proper direction we need to get back to that trend line and potentially flip it in the positive direction. Weekly wise, still over the 8 EMA. You did absolutely wick up. You did absolutely chase the wick. This is a bit of a bearish setup as well. Chasing a wick in a positive direction like this is bearish. Why? Because you're just filling in all that mess that got left behind, all right? And if it's this way on the bottom, we also call that a wick fill. And in fact, that's when we look for our secondary entries. This would be looking for a secondary short. Platinum. Platinum is a little bit worse. It's in the 821 EMA wait a minute zone on the weekly. As you see, between the 8 and the 21 EMA right there. That's the wait a minute zone, meaning don't do much yet. Similar, very, very bearish back test of the trend. You failed the 821 EMA. You failed the 50 EMA. Not good enough is what it is. But for now, metals continue to consolidate down and sideways. All right. Now, how about we look into some crypto stuff, shall we? And we shall. Check and make sure I got all my stuff working over here. I do. I have to double check because if you run 3 things at one time, it uses up a lot of RAM. And while I have a lot of RAM in here, this computer is starting to show some age. So I just can't, dude, I can't be the guy who spends a bunch of money on RAM at the top. I can't do it. Buying the top seems so silly. You know what I mean? All right. On to some crypto stuff. So, I haven't talked about much crypto lately. Why? Well, there hasn't been much to talk about until now. 821 EMA cross. Exactly what we wanted to see. I'm going to flip the Reaper strategy on here. I had someone ask on the last video about how to get the Reaper strategy in the Discord. It's in the custom indicators section of our Discord. Let me see if I can pull that up now. I'm not sure if it will work, but I will try. And that's my car that I had in Vegas. Love the Lamborghini Huracan. Amazing car. Amazing car. I'm not sure this is going to work, but we'll see if we can get Discord to work here. Oh, yeah, it's working. Boom. All right, so on the left side of our Discord, once you become a member, you unlock every channel. Once you unlock every channel, if you scroll down to the bottom, keep scrolling, and you'll see things like, hey, stocks and equities charts, and I have separate threads for all those. Top 25 cryptos, separate threads for all those, right? Come on down to the bottom here, and you're going to start to see other stuff. DGen chat, I never post in there. Business questions, got you. Custom indicator scripts. Custom indicator scripts right there. Pin messages are at the top, back behind my picture right here. Can't see it, but you click the little pin up here, and the drop down pops up. I'll drop the camera off for a second here. Right here you see pinned chat. Bam, right there. And right here's the Reaper strategy. You download it. Once you get it downloaded, let me close this out. Once you get it downloaded, you come back over here to Trading View, and you click on Pine Editor. They've moved it, but yeah, click on Pine Editor over here on the right, and you can copy paste your stuff right here. Follow the instructions. There's even a video in the instructional video in there to show you how to do it, but let's go through it again. You had 2 closes over the 8. That was our last live stream. You actually had 3. Then you got an 821 cross that we talked about. I said I wanted to see. That's awesome. That's 2 out of 3 buys. And the third would be breaking that 50 moving average that we just touched. This is the first time that Bitcoin has touched the 50 moving average since the end of January, which was also a bearish touch back then. Not only that, folks, but we are breaking the trend line, it looks like right here. And if that's the case, we have an opportunity to break that 50 moving average and get up here toward that $77,000 level like I've been expecting. Hasn't done it, hasn't made this bearish back test that I think it's got in it, which is the same level. It's a high, and it was a lower high on the way down. And we need to break that, obviously, about 73. You hit 73, that starts changing things, because then we can roll up here and get to our upper level. You got the 100 moving average slowly tracking its way over there, sort of following that green trend line that you see up there. Zoom out a bit here. So it looks like this trend line is breaking, as you see right here. But if we scroll out, you got a much larger trend line right here. It's also pressing the price down, right? Not going to make it easy for you. Going to make it more difficult for you for what it's worth. If that's the case, good that you're breaking this one. Get up to this secondary level, this 236. I do believe there's a bearish back test in order. Hit the curve right here. You may go up a little higher, and then I expect that same downturn to come back in out here toward May or June when we work back down to that 382 fib. That's my thought on what likely happens, what very well could happen, and I'm here for it because I'm already in on this one, okay? Hit 77, bounce back a little bit, and crack through the trend. Back test 77 and work your way up. If that happens, that would be fantabulous. But for what it's worth, folks, we got to call it what it is. Right now, we're in big downtrends. What we have right now is not technically an overall uptrend. It's technically an overall downtrend with a short-term uptrend because we've had so much sell pressure since that 126.6 day that we had. Since then, we've had nothing but push down, push down, push down. Sucks. It is what it is. Till today, I'm starting to see some change here. This thing breaking the 821 EMA, getting an 821 EMA cross, and hitting the 50 moving average is very positive. Keep it up. All right. What's up, Clete? So, set head and shoulders. Yep, I got you. Couple more here, and then we'll get out of here. Here's XRP. We do XRP every single week because that's what people ask for. 821 EMA, you're so close. You've been in the wait a minute zone for quite a while here. As you can see, it's trying to break the 821 EMA, and like Bitcoin, 50 moving average is up here, but it has not touched Bitcoin. It has not touched the 50 moving average yet. Check out your Bollinger Bands. Look how tight they are. Tight Bollinger Bands tends to mean incoming volatility. It is over the midline. That means potential volatility up. So keep your eyeballs on it. At the same time we're getting an 821 EMA cross, same time we're getting pinched Bollinger Bands, same time we're finally coming up off of oversold and working our way toward 50. If we get above 50 and hold, we very well could work toward overbought. Same time we're breaking the pivot line. Look at that. This is a good positive news here for XRP. And I mean chart news, not your stupid BS news that you read all over X and YouTube where it's all hopium. We don't do none of that here. We do straight fact, homie. I like what I'm seeing here. This is a positive. This is a positive in a world of negative lately. Now, for the negative. We're still underneath the clouds. There's a void there in the cloud. It's likely to work through. Need to see some volume to really push this thing to the max. And like I did say, the 50 moving average is still sort of pinning you down here, even if you do hit it. You know, maybe. Close, maybe. But prove it. I need to see more from this asset before I go saying, oh my gosh, we're going to fly up. I don't think we're going to go fly up. I think we're going to slowly grind up. And that'll be just enough to make an overall lower high for this thing to come back down and peel south. Anything like I just drew happens, I'm happy for people. But you need to know you're not going to make any money unless you're willing to sell and rebuy. I know that sucks to hear. Oh, I mean, you're just going to keep dumping money in it forever if you don't listen. Do your thing. Do what you want to do. You're not going to listen to me regardless. I just want to see people make money on it. And if you only ever buy, you're never going to make money. All you're ever going to do is talk about how much money you have and pretend. Congratulations. You have a bunch of pretend money that you've never done anything with, or you may not ever get to do anything with. This is why I encourage people to use charts so much. We're dialing this thing down to the day or so of the right time to buy and the right time to sell. I'm not saying do it 35 times a week. That's stupid. How about once or twice every once in a while? That's fair. That's easy, right? I think so as well. Let's see some more improvement here. Keep pushing. Let's get through this 821. Let's even press that 50 moving average and try to crack it. I'd love to see XRP keep going. All right. A couple more here. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Here's a great example of what I like to see. Look at AVAX. It's been forever since AVAX has broken the 50 moving average all the way back to the middle of January. But as you see, not only are we breaking this big downtrend, let me zoom out here so you can see it. See that? First time breaking this downtrend since September. Straight down in a nosedive. See that? Isn't that wild? It's also happening to catch the previous lows here. So we could be finding a floor for AVAX, if even a temporary floor. It could be finding one. Now, it's not a guarantee. It's a hope. I don't like doing that, but this is the first time I've seen this thing get over this trend line that it's been getting crushed by in the last 6 months. There's your 821 and 50 moving average that I was talking about. That's two closes. If it can hold here, two closes over the 50 moving average. Very cool. Very rare, but very cool. Hasn't happened in a very, very long time. Here's the weekly. This is my pause on this. Okay.
Pause.
She's not through the 8 EMA yet. It's only pressing into it weekly. And you can see what it's done before. Just pure red dead redemption over there. And here's your MACD. Trying to sweep up. Look at the last time this happened. She did sweep all the way back to the midline. Could be some relief in there for people. Here's the RSI on the weekly. Never quite oversold heavy enough. So one could say this is just a bearish back test and could roll over. And I fully understand and support that idea. But I must admit that it's nice seeing something break the 50 moving average in the crypto world. There's a couple more hype and a couple other very, very low cap altcoins. But man, it's nice to see a top 25 finally do something. It's finally nice to see some buy pressure, try to push us over the hump and get us moving in the right direction. So with that, thank you guys for watching. 30 minutes goes by pretty quick these days, doesn't it? I think so. I've got a couple of those recorded so we can post videos up of them later. I want to thank everybody for coming out and hanging out, man. It's awesome. I don't ask a lot of everyone, but I do ask that people come and hang out and try to learn. It's for your own good. You know what I mean? If you don't like the way I do it, that's fine. If I can interest you in charts and get you thinking about data rather than feelings, I did my part. I'll see all you guys next week on Tuesday, same time. We'll do an hour on Tuesday again. I appreciate you all, and thank you. Last but not least, sky's the limit. I'm out, man. Y'all be good. Peace.